but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. But for now, we set our sights onto that first map, which is always going to be Domination. Keep in mind that Domination will be the first map always in these series. As we move on to maps 2 and 3 is when things open up, as teams do have options to go either Convoy or Convergence.
Well, our random domination map is going to be Celestial Husk, and there are so many good compositions on this map. Flyers are incredibly strong here. We're probably not going to be seeing things like the Torch because he himself got torched with the latest nerfs, but the Star-Lord is still one of the strongest duelists in the skies. With all of the natural cover that you have around Celestial Husk, you can hide behind it, activate your Galactic Legend, and still be able to cover from all of the ultimates that it's going to greenlight as a counter. As let's see what is going to be able to make its way through. Mantis has been removed for both of these teams, but now the question becomes this first save. Is 100 Thieves going to prioritize something that Delena can play? Because Terra is so flexible in all of these other duelist roles, it's nigh impossible to be able to ban him out.
So far, the Jeff will be the option, and the Mantis as well. So no Mantis so far this entire day, but Na'Vi, they saved the Emma Frost, but 100 Thieves will secure themselves the Adam Warlock, which we have seen Delena play.
Yes, this is really good as well from 100 Thieves, because this is Adam Warlock on Domination, one of his strongest map types. Even if you're losing the fight, as long as you've got point control, you're still winning in regards to the fight over point percentage. Na'Vi have been able to secure themselves, however, one-sided Emma, so that's going to be really, really good at putting pressure on 100 Thieves in these retake situations with Silent Destruction to be able to walk your team forward, plus being able to help out in case there's a dive coming on through. As we see the Jeff getting banned out, which means that Na'Vi don't have to have one of their players with CC immunity to take out the ultimate, but 100 Thieves have got options here. Delena can play the Adam, but we've also seen him play the Winter Soldier. However, that's also Terra's own staple hero that he is arguably the best in the world at. This is a very good draft adaptation coming on through from Thieves.
Yeah, the Invisible Woman also being banned by 100 Thieves, so Na'Vi's options in terms of what they could go for is a little bit limited, but Na'Vi do find a way back in this draft as they take out Vinny, who is a very, very strong group player, and that is another crucial pick for 100 Thieves that they cannot have access to.
It does mean as well that you don't have Strangling Prison to combine with Kraken Impact, but it also means now that you didn't get to take out something like the Loki. Now, do 100 Thieves use this last ban to deny the Bucky, so that if they do want to play a Loki lineup with Harvey, they don't have to worry about the resets with the doppelgangers, but no, they're going to actually remove the Captain America coming on out from the side of Trust Me, forcing him onto the Venom. Now, you could argue that the Venom in this capability on this patch is stronger than the Captain America with the anti-heal now attached to the Feast of the Abyss, but what the Venom has is a walking hitbox in comparison to the Captain America, which means that he's going to be taking so much entry damage coming on through from both the Hela and, if they decide to play for it, the Adam too.
So many different options, so many different ways to approach the draft. This is a meta where so many of these heroes are so good. We could even argue every single one. we saw a Widow yesterday, we saw an Iron Fist just now. What else could really pop out here?
Okay, I'm going to put an asterisk there. We saw a Widow with a Mantis damage boost. That was the only reason that strategy was viable in the first place, with the one-shot capabilities to be able to find those eliminations in the downtime rotations, as we're going to be seeing absolutely no downtime here for Domination. It is all cards on the table to be able to secure this first fight. For Dive, they want to be able to disrupt on the second approach. For the counter dive, they want to be able to have the opportunity to mark the positions of both the Venom and the Psylocke to prevent them from going for the commitment onto that back line. We are going to see an absolute attrition warfare coming on through from these two sides, with neither giving an inch until they can secure this point.
And it looks like Na'Vi are quick to make their move. Trust Me swings right on in, still undetected. I'm not sure if Vinny was able to spot him out just yet, as Trust Me is just running donuts around the walls. But for now, 100 Thieves look to try to take early control of that high ground. And Vinny, we saw him hover over the Venom, but it looks like he's opted to the Captain America as Rajaro gets dangerously low, but is able to get away in the nick of time.
TTK on that Magneto has already established his position on the front line as well. Now that Na'Vi are going to have to get past this Magneto, they do have the ammo for the rushdown potential to bully him out of that space. We still haven't really got to see the dive come into play. Instead, it's going to be 100 Thieves, Vinny on the Captain America, in and out. Disruption, one and done. Back over to the backline, fuels the Venom, now puts the pressure onto the Emma too, and this is what we were talking about. Both of these teams not going for the full commitment, both investing the ultimates the second that they've got them up. Cosmic Yawn Amplifier is the damage boost, and the 100 Thieves don't yet have a defensive against it.
Yep, Na'Vi were able to beat the entirety of the 100 Thieves roster to just get their ultimates going first, and Na'Vi will find their first touch at the point, and now 100 Thieves need to play retake, and without many of these good retake options, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Terra does have the Kraken impact, as does the rest of 100 Thieves' ultimates as well.
But how do you set it up? You don't have a stun to be able to force Na'Vi into stacking into this because the group was banned out from the side of Vinny. So this Kraken impact is likely going to be just putting pressure on the players, not wanting to let them have the stack. Out comes down to the butterflies, the heal and the soul bond though. Alone, not enough. Combined, absolutely more than needed to be able to deal with the Psylocke ultimate. Invis boundary now to deal with the Feast of the Abyss coming on through from the side of Trust Me, but Na'Vi have been able to keep their position on this point and not allow 100 Thieves in.
Terra sounds the voice line, but everyone else popping their voice lines as well. Vinny trying to use that freedom charge to keep his own team alive. Fate already sent to the sidelines, needs to make his way back into the fray. But 100 Thieves look to complete the retake, but look on the tail end as Na'Vi take out 3. But Terra, he's clapped things back with a double here as Na'Vi do have a man advantage, but it's not saying much as Terra still on a tear, but he finally gets neutralized by a laser from Rajaro. TTK follows suit.
Yeah,
and Na'Vi keep the defense going.
The dive coming on through from Trust Me before 100 Thieves are able to get Terra in a position with the Winter Soldier and let TTK rip with the Meteor M. And he's going to be off the Winter Soldier onto the Star-Lord just to have a better chance of being able to mark the Venom and the Psylocke's position as they play into these retakes. TTK does have the Meteor M, doesn't have to hold it for the Galactic Legend to be able to prevent it. That's likely going to be the ultimate 100 Thieves look to be able to buy themselves the space. The Star-Lord's already found the Venom. There's the marking coming into play with the Duelist swap, and he's got the ability to make it back to his team, but in the interim, Vinny falls, and now 100 Thieves have to go aggressively forward with the Soulbind.
Terra trying to spin, but will he find a win? TTK does find the doppelganger of Terra on the likes of Naga, but Trust Me and Rajara, the two front line of Na'Vi, are just going to put a wrench in their momentum. 100 Thieves, can they complete the heist? No, the TP does not come in time as Na'Vi shut out 100 Thieves in round number 1.
Yeah, Portal wasn't in time, no body block needed. You could see as well that Na'Vi Rajaro was already getting into position on the Emma Frost to intercept, Diamond Form into spinning kick, denying anyone getting through. And that means that the 100 Thieves don't have a portal option here to be able to drop themselves into a fight quickly and try and put the pressure onto level 1 Crook to use the fate of both worlds. And the problem here for Harvey now is that if they use the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier, they have to be able to combine the damage very, very quickly to take down someone on Na'Vi's side, as opposed to Na'Vi's side, who are going to be able to use level 1 Crook's ultimate to have the time to take Harvey's ultimate down, which has a health bar attached to it.
It's all going to come down to Harvey, where he places the Cosmic Yarn. We have seen some teams adapt to the situation where the Cosmic Yarn is just so easily focused down, and it's a lot more heavier of an emphasis. Now that the damage boost is now up to 40%,
yeah,
it puts a lot more of a exclamation point for Na'Vi to go for that object, go for it now, or else we lose this fight.
Terra's going to have a tough time too using this Galactic Legend because Rajaro's just going to use the Sonic Seduction to be able to entice the Star-Lord a little bit closer. TTK, like you said, already using that bulwark, which means he's not going to be able to come through with the ultimate until we get the next cycle. Feast of the Abyss and Dance with the Butterflies combine together to make a lethal duo, and all of the ultimates start to come out.
Oh my God.
Na'Vi have the upper hand though. The Star-Lord's already been able to find 2. They just get to push so aggressively forward with the Lunar Ultimate Safeguard, and as we talked about, the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier is but a blip on the 100 Thieves timeline. It's taken down so quickly.
Why play open air when close quarter does the trick? Na'Vi. They realized that Terra was popping the Galactic Legend, and Na'Vi just steamrolled through 100 Thieves, and that was the correct play. Now Naga and Fate have their ultimates available. Millennia does have the invisible boundary, so keep your eyes on that invisible boundary, because that could be the difference here in this next fight. But Vinny also having that freedom charge, as does Delena with the Karmic Revival. It all comes down to here, can Na'Vi make the hold happen?
Well, with eyes they not may have, Na'Vi unfortunately forced out with that invis boundary, and Harvey swapping over to the Cloak and Dagger is going to be able to put more pressure on the Venom with the Terra Cape blinds. Out comes the Galactic Legend, freedom charge from Vinny to answer in pursuit, pushing 100 Thieves' position so that they don't get boxed into those small spaces the way that Na'Vi punished them previously, because the Fate of Both Worlds wasn't there, but the Feast of the Abyss and Dance of the Butterflies could be so quickly generated that 100 Thieves would have been boxed into an ultimate combination they cannot afford to take. Finally, they get that point control, and now if Na'Vi sync the ultimates, Delena is going to be laughing. He's going to be able to make the stock exchange of the Karmic Revival coming on through to get the entire rest of the team back up.
Yeah, great defensive play coming in from 100 Thieves with the Soul Bond, just nullifying the damage that came out of Naga. Vinny as well, keeping these in favor of 100 Thieves with that freedom charge, and as soon as that ended, 100 Thieves come right back swinging, and 100 Thieves now completed the retake, but can they make the hold happen? He finds Juriki, who has to dash away from a diving Vinny, but trust me, is doing the same on 100 Thieves' backline as Juriki. Millennia will get taken out. Level 1 Crook will find another one as well, but Delena will bring everyone right back into the fray as Terra, yet again, trying to write his own legend as he tries to find any sort of frags, but it does zone away the rest of Na'Vi, but TTK with the stun. But the Fate of Both Worlds from level 1 Crook will keep everyone alive and well on the side of Na'Vi. Harvey as well, popping that Eternal Bond just to equalize the fight, and Na'Vi trying to find more ways in as they have so much more options available to them.
Invisible boundary is still held in the pocket, but Millennia knows that Fate's got the Cosmic Ion Amplifier, is waiting for the right moment to be able to use it so that Na'Vi get the opportunity to start landing those damages. BRB is going to be able to bring back level 1 Crook. They think that this is their opportunity, but Millennia's ultimate buys the time for 100 Thieves to turn and yet again take down the Cosmic Ion Amplifier, and we're about to head into a final fight territory. Na'Vi know they have to reset quickly. They're going to come through with another fight. They've got the Stone Extraction to open up the space to use both the Galactic Legend to force Vinny's ultimate, and then come through with the later Dance of the Butterflies before 100 Thieves balls are defensive. So for them, they have to take Jerky down.
Na'Vi make it to the site in time and will light up the overtime candle. 100 Thieves, though, they know that Na'Vi have to stay on the site if they want to contest this point for any longer, as Jerky kicks things off, as does his fellow duelist on the likes of Naga, both trying to rain down hell, trying to dance onto the 100 Thieves, but they cannot find all but one, as Millennia does go down early, but 100 Thieves have their own response as Terra finds one with the Galactic Legend, but they cannot find any more as Delena uses the Karmic Revival to bring everyone right back into the fight. Level 1 Crook as well, trying to keep Na'Vi, keep them in this fight as that overtime meter slowly but surely falling as Harvey comes in with what could be the perfect Eternal Bond, but Fate with that damage boost has to draw all the attention from 100 Thieves, but is that the difference? It's going to be a 1-for-1. No BRB available for Fate, so that means Jerky's out of this fight, out of the fray, as level 1 Crook, though, will find Terra, and it looks like things will die down as Na'Vi complete their own retake.
Was that Portal? TTK swapped onto Strange. Was that Portal attempted coming on through from 100 Thieves? If it was, they're not going to have it for the next overtime push when Na'Vi are sitting at 99%. No, it was not. Thank you, observers. I love it when we ask a question and they immediately give us the answer. The right click, the Portal of all is still very much on charge for 100 Thieves as Delena swaps back to the Atom, will have the Soulbind, is going to try to build up the Karmic Revival before we hit the overtime and overwhelm Na'Vi with numbers alone.
TTK, one of the 3 controller players in this entire tournament, has to move the sticks perfectly here as Na'Vi look to keep the defensive going. TTK very close to that Eye of Agamotto. He has done very, very well on this hero, but can he strike yet again? But Na'Vi climbing closer, as we head into a 99-99 scenario as Juriki finds TTK. That might be the biggest domino to fall in favor of Na'Vi, as Naga as well trying to find another frag, but Vinny finds the trade, but Delena also goes down, but has the cocoon, but has to come back quickly so we can try to charge it up, but it's not gonna matter as Na'Vi take over round number 2 and map number 1.
Celestial Hand was a little bit of a push and pull, you know? We got the tug of war coming on out from both of those two compositions, but Na'Vi perfectly target focusing down the players that they had to, right? Target Harvey because you know he's going to be close to an Eternal Bond when the fight moves over to objective, so that you can come on through with an unmatched Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, as well as that Galactic Legend putting in the damage. Feast of the Abyss already forced out the Invis boundary. That means that you get the opportunity to come through with the reactionary Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, so that it stays up longer as opposed to being absolutely exploded the way that it was prior to that in every single instance. And it was just really good cycling of the ultimates and the positions coming on through from Na'Vi's end, which meant that they got to adapt into the stranglehold that 100 Thieves had previously.
Yeah, I feel like most of these fights that really did go in favor of Na'Vi had just been extremely explosive. 100 Thieves, they like to go for the long game. They try to grind down Na'Vi and try to find a way to just slowly halt the train that is coming. But Na'Vi, they have other options. They just go straight in. I don't care if you have an ultimate. We're just gonna go bam right in and blow up the entirety of 100 Thieves, and that was the difference here in the Celestial Husk, and Na'Vi now have the upper hand.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing some of those highlights so that we can properly talk through some of the things that Na'Vi's dives were getting to do. And one of the huge things that I really want to talk about that I spotted from this team was that they were mixing up the duration of the dives. Sometimes it would be a soft dive coming on through, just trust me, being there with the token resistance pressure of that Venom. And then other times it would be the instantaneous hit of him and Cherokee coming on through with those ultimates, to the point that 100 Thieves, when the dive came through, they didn't really know where it was going to be a follow-up dive looking for an elimination, or if it was just a sort of push into 100 Thieves space to be able to set up the motion for something else a little bit later on down the line. And that is one of the things that dive really punishes, right? You're correct. Na'Vi was so aggressive that a lot of the time 100 Thieves had to panic react coming on through with the muscle memory, and that means that things slip through, right? Sometimes you overcommit when you don't have the time to be able to set up all of those boundaries. But we'll have to see whether or not there is going to be a boundary set between these two teams. Is it going to be a turnaround for 100 Thieves when we head into map number 2 after this break?
Have what it takes to become the best of the best.
The fight is gonna happen right here, right now. Everybody, and welcome back to the Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals group stages, as we are right in the middle of the first seed from America, 100 Thieves, versus the third seed from EMEA in Na'Vi. Na'Vi walking away with a win on Celestial Husk. 100 Thieves now get to react. What exactly do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be a convoy? Is it going to be a convergence? Either way, I feel like we're going to be seeing a triple Vanguard hold come through at some point.
Yeah, that's exactly what most of these teams have been running in this current meta, right? In these Convoy and Convergence maps, triple Vanguards, triple Strategists really have been the name of the game. Obviously, the objective not to win all the fights, but just try to burn as much of that clock as possible. 4 minutes of that timer needs to be burned as much by that just that defensive bulwark of Vanguards, and then the supports coming in from the strategists who do have a bit of damage to their name. So this composition really does work out in terms of trying to get that defensive holding, but in terms of what 100 Thieves want to do specifically, there are a few maps that do come in mind.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves, they've had a rough go of it in terms of the matches that they've pulled. Being in a Group B, I feel like every single team, though, we can say that about them, right? It's like, congratulations, you won your region, now go up against all of these absolute juggernauts of Marvel Rivals Esports. They went against Citadel yesterday, and they've still got to, you know, finish off this one against Na'Vi. And then later down the line, they've got some even harder matchups coming up, right?
So many matchups available that they have to play out. We dubbed this the Group B for good reason. So many stacked rosters here in this tournament, especially in this group, and with so much volatility happening, as well as 100 Thieves do have a lot more to work.
Yeah, they've got FlyQuest, which
they've got FlyQuest.
That's going to be one that I think everyone is going to be looking for a rematch of, right? Because America, they always take things a little bit personally when they get beaten by other American teams. So there's a couple of points to be able to be proven here. And like you said, let's have a look at the map pool, because there are certain options which I think would definitely help 100 Thieves' chances at being able to take Na'Vi down, right? We know that Na'Vi like to run a lot of these dive compositions. We know as well that they like to run a lot of Jeff strategies. So right off of the rip, let's just eliminate some of these places like Spider Islands and Araco.
Yeah, two of those are very, very tough to take control of. Spider Islands just has a lot of verticality, so a lot of high ground angles that Dive really struggles to take over, and same with Araco, with so many of these portals, so many shenanigans happening in that map. It's just too much for Dives to try to just locate where the targets are. But right now we are we're gonna see what 100 Thieves decide to opt for, and it will be the Yggdrasil path, a map that 100 Thieves are so comfortable at playing.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those maps as well where you can run so many different things, which means that the draft system, it's so important. And oh, okay, that's a break from tradition. Na'Vi goes the right of instant banning Mantis. 100 Thieves prioritize the Emma because it means that their Vanguards aren't going to be shut down by things like the Carbon Crush. But that means that Na'Vi are going to get not one-sided Mantis, it's one-sided Strange. Actually, the team names are swapped. 100 Thieves are going to be able to get one-sided Strange, and Na'Vi are going to be able to not stop, or rather they will be able to stop 100 Thieves from picking up the Mantis if they so choose to do it now, I would imagine. But no, that is a gauntlet. That is saying that you can deal with 100 Thieves in a faster ultimate cycle, but also 12% damage boost in the neutral fights too.
Oh boy, yeah, like you said, breaking tradition from what we've been normally seeing. 100 Thieves do secure TTK's Doctor Strange as we move farther in. Do we see a Mantis pick? No, not just yet. Looks like Na'Vi, they were the innovators back in mid-season. It looks like they might be innovating something else. They could be having Trust Me, being the mad scientist himself, just trying to cook up a different strategy. But Na'Vi taking a different approach. Does this work out for them, or will it haunt them later in this map?
Okay, well, they get Emma, which is really, really good at denying 100 Thieves' stall strategy. They get Jeff, which is really, really good if they want to be able to cheese fights with the Jeff NATO strategies, the way that we've actually seen a lot of teams falling prey to. In fact, one of the teams was 100 Thieves losing out to Citadel on this very map because of the Jeff NATO strategy. So maybe this is trying to force a Storm ban, but 100 Thieves, they're not going to fall for it. It's going to be a Strange ban, and I'm expecting this has to be Mantis, right? This has to be a Mantis.
There's no way.
You've been able to secure one of the best strategists, one of the most banned out strategists, requests all the way up into second save slot, and there it is. Na'Vi lose the opportunity to ban her out and have to instead look at something that she's going to empower instead.
You don't see every day a Mantis all the way on the right side of the draft, but 100 Thieves also taking a different approach as well, getting that Strange one-sided for themselves, and we've seen some teams take that approach as well, denying the Strange, denying the portal comeback. If the team that could have had the option to get Strange gets banned out, and that's exactly what 100 Thieves want to do. We want the rotational plays, but you don't get to have it. And that's exactly what 100 Thieves exactly do as they go on a heist and take away that Dr. Strange.
Are we about to see a renaissance? Terra is locking Iron Fist there. Are we going to see the curveball of Stage 2? Stage 1, it was Mantis and GF strategies. Is Stage 2 going to be Iron Fist? Is Iron Fist with that buff getting to do more damage than a Wolverine to the Vanguards, as well as all of the overhelp from the Adam revive? Is that going to be the answer to these long-term sustained compositions? I mean, I feel like they're just playing a little bit with the hero picks at the moment, given the fact that Millennia is likely not going to be locking Daredevil and letting the devil out of the kitchen or the spawn doors, so to speak, as Na'Vi get ready to buckle down the hatches. They've got the Loki, they've got the Adam, 100 Thieves, whatever the composition is, it has to win this fight fast, otherwise there's going to be a double res cycle waiting to meet them.
Delena now opts to go for the Winter Soldier. They leave Terra to play the Iron Fist. So we'll see some duelist action coming in from Delena here on Yggdrasil path. This is a map, again, very, very comfortable for 100 Thieves. There is a reason why they chose this map here coming into map number 2, as Delena gets taken out immediately by a Naga right click.
No Rocket BRB to be able to bring him back in yet. Terra was on the Iron Fist for but a moment before swapping on over to that Punisher. He's getting the full pocket at the moment. He's going to have Storm damage boost and Mantis damage boost, and those stack, by the way, so this Punisher is going to be absolutely rocketing up to the first charge of the final judgment, and it's up to Vinny on the Venom to just disrupt the backline, keep the strategist looking at him and try and deny level 1 Crook from Balding, the God of Mischief. The regen domain, though, is but a cooldown for Na'Vi's players, so even with the Loki's attention turned, he can still keep his front line nice and safe, which means 100 Thieves haven't found an in just yet. But here's when they make the push, Dan. They're going to have final judgment, and that's the go sign.
The go button is going to be pressed very, very soon. Millennia might be the signal, but it's going to be Delena going to initiate things. But Na'Vi do have ways to back themselves up to survive the storm of Delena. Most notably, that Karmic Revival popped by level 1 Crook. So Naga on that Adam Warlock still has it available to them, but Fate swallows up one of the members, but is able to come back thanks to the Karmic Revival, and now 100 Thieves will just crumble to pieces. They only committed the Storm Ultimate, so it looks like 100 Thieves, they probably realized that now was not the time to go all in. They were just only using the Storm Ultimate to draw out key cooldowns.
They can't use Rajara's ultimate either to keep a lid of the final judgment because it's got CC immunity. Instead, it's used to peel the dive coming on through from Vinny on the Venom on the back end of the strategist. But that just means that you delay the problem. Out comes the Karmic Revival all the way around the corner. One does fall in the form of Trust Me, which means he's going to be brought back post-haste, as too is level 1 Crook. And the Adam ultimate has been able to find value. It doesn't have the Soulbind though, and 100 Thieves still have the ultimate cycles in their favor. Soul Researchers push forward. Damage boost and Feast of the Abyss is going to blend into the Hurricane coming on through from Delena, and it's going to be Na'Vi stuck in choke with a Storm in their backline, disrupting any regroup, which will finally allow 100 Thieves surely to pick up first.
100 Thieves have that choke point in their own grasp. We'll see if Na'Vi are able to find a way back in. Nope, no chance here, as 100 Thieves do secure that point. Delena even gets a double on the tail end as well. And now Na'Vi, what kind of adjustment do you go for? The triple, now not the option here. Jerky will go back to his trusty Psylocke. And Na'Vi have to look yet again to find some sort of retake, some sort of defense going.
Yeah, I mean, this storm is about to full storm to the Psylocke coming on through as Jerky gets the Idol Aura. They're also going to have the Star-Lord too. They're going full counter-flyer composition. Delina's not going to have a fun time on the Ultron against his main nemesis of Hero. And we're going to see TTK with the Eye of Agamotto, but Rajara should be able to keep it in check with the Diamond Form into Carbon Crush. So for 100 Thieves, it's all about forcing the damage using the cooldown and then getting to move on forward. But the longer you wait, the more opportunity you give the Star-Lord. Galactic Legend has already been built, and off of the back of that, 100 Thieves have to double down. Final Judgment and Invis Boundary, but Na'Vi purely disengage both of them, and now get to come on through with one-sided Luna ult instead.
One-sided strategist ultimate available, and that might be the difference here as level 1 Crook starts to open up the dance floor as Trust Me with a double wipes out the strategists of 100 Thieves. And now Na'Vi complete the retake, and they will continue to hold. Do 100 Thieves look for an adjustment here, or do they try to go again? It looks like Delina does switch over to the Psylocke, so there is a slight adjustment here. Terra now back to that trusty Winter Soldier that we all know and love.
Yeah, the movement of Dive is just so stiff into these retake opportunities, especially for the Ultron, who just does not have that freedom of movement the way that the Torch does, as it's going to be Rajara chasing 100 Thieves back and Jerky with the dance. The butterflies cutting them down to size on the disengage. Run and hide from the Emma, go directly into the Psylocke. What a play coming on through from the Duelist and Vanguard.
Great looks coming in from Na'Vi. They were the innovators back in mid-season, and they look to do it here, albeit not as influential as they used to be, but they still are a force to be reckoned with, as Trust Me finds a chance to jump on the target, but Rajaro is the one to get the opening pick as Millennia forced to use the Soul Resurgence, but Trust Me claps back with a Freedom Charge of his own.
That means no Mantis ultimate to be able to stop the Galactic Legend. However, I was going to say they would still have Harvey with the regen domain cooldown, but they're going to swap him over to the Invis Woman instead, which now opens up the field for the Solid ultimate to find the damage needed.
The hook!
There's the target focus. 100 Thieves knew the win condition of Na'Vi and focus it down fully. Fate comes on through with the Itch Jeff. TTK looks for the meteor and can he find the connection? Two enemies in Fate's Gullet, and off the map he goes with both of them, but no! Somehow Millennium manages to dodge it!
And Terra comes back with the BRB, so Na'Vi come out empty-handed. Fake goes down, now he's forced to sprint right back, but what a hook from Terra! Denies the legend being written for Naga. He has to reposition. Now Terra has to be the difference here. He's already done so much work with that bionic hook, as Terra needs to find any more of an advantage, but Na'Vi have the response with the Psylocke Seduction, with that dance floor coming in from Jerky of all people.
Yeah, the split, they were disengaging, half the team running from Rajaru's ultimate, which meant half the team not there to absorb the dash damages coming on through from Jerky's end, and 100 Thieves yet again sent back to the respawn. 4 seconds left. No strange portal is going to be able to come through in time. It's up to Vinny on that Venom to just hold the line long enough for TTK to be able to set it up in time, but he has fallen, and Na'Vi should be able to prevent the portal coming on through entirely.
What a hold, what a play coming in from Na'Vi. Just combining their ultimates with that Dance of the Butterfly, with the Psionic Seduction, both in tandem with each other, were just able to take over all of these fights. And 100 Thieves, they just couldn't have a way in. They never had a chance to breathe. There were some bright spots in these fights, most notably Terra hooking Naga out of that Galactic Legend, but in the end, it just was not enough.
They did manage to get through first, but the problem on Yggdrasil path is that they didn't get to the truly brutal spot for the attackers team, which is just past third, like just into the beginning of third, or potentially on the finish line of second, where we see so often attacking teams so worried about the defenders' respawns that they will just drop 4 or 5 ultimates in to be able to secure the fight win so that they don't have to play into the subsequent retakes, and that's going to be a problem for 100 Thieves. This stall hold has to be not perfect, but it has to be lengthy enough that it then bleeds into the second point. Otherwise, Na'Vi's time bank alone, they're going to have so much opportunity to just build up ultimates and bank them.
Men
Yep.
are not welcome where I come from.
Having a little bit of a buffer on the side of 100 Thieves really does help a lot. Like you mentioned, they don't have to perfectly hold. They do have a little bit of wiggle room, but Na'Vi looking to try to disrupt that hold as they look for that Groot Knight Wombo combo. But 100 Thieves will give Vinny the thing as 100 Thieves try to look for a defensive play, but TTK getting dangerously low. Well, we'll come back thanks to the BRB, but Vinny not so lucky.
Tara gets picked on the Strange at least, so if 100 Thieves want to throw themselves onto the objective and stall it out as long as they can to be able to play for a portal recontest, they can make that move if they so choose. It is going to be indeed, yeah, everyone throws themselves onto the objective, one by one they will fall, but they've still been able to hold the cart for a little bit of time, long enough for a portal to be able to come on through, so you can already see, trust me, he's built up the Groot ramp just to make sure that they can park it onto the high ground if that's where Terra decides to drop the team. Looks, however, like we're not going to be seeing a high ground play, it's instead going to be onto
right
main road just to run directly at Na'Vi, but they're just going to disengage. They've got the Wombo combo, they've got the Strangling Prison and the Hand of Conchu, which means 100 Thieves have to play reactive rather than aggressive, and that means that they do manage to pick Jerky, but they still have to worry about all of the ultimates coming up through.
Everyone on Na'Vi not even investing a whole lot into this fight. 100 Thieves are slowly crumbling one after another. They're just falling one at a time. A little bit controversial if you can argue, but Millennia tries to regroup things, keep everyone together with that Soul Resurgence. But Na'Vi, they were able to get through the chicane, but TTK finds the slam dunk onto Fate. Millennia keep that momentum with another pick. And finally, it seems like there's some signs of life coming in from 100 Thieves. They looked down, they looked almost out of it, but finally, with a little bit of adjustment, we're able to finally stop the push that came in from Na'Vi.
Good little bit of damage there taken through from Vinny, so he can channel it over to Harvey to build up the invis boundary and have it to counterplay Rajaro's ultimate. As Terror of the Galactic Legend is going to get a free buff to come through against the invis, but not the Emma. Storm is going to send that ultimate in deep, putting the pressure, forcing the invis boundary, and also trying to find the elimination onto the teleport disc coming on through for Terror so that he can't go in deep, force the ultimate reaction, and then back to the best of his team. As we're still going to be seeing the ultimates from Na'Vi, they've only lost the group, but they don't want to fully disengage around the corner because the 100 Thieves will look for more.
100 Thieves are slowly pushing that point right back to where Na'Vi just recently took control of. But now 100 Thieves, they need to find a way back in. It's most notably going to be that Galactic Legend, but Rajaro has the Silent Seduction. Can he find the Star Lord in the nick of time? It looks like Terra was just hiding up in the high ground, but Jerky jumps out into the back line, but Millennia does come back thanks to the Be Right Back. As Trust Me, putting up walls, putting up the options, as a Strangling Prison only finds one, but the CYA from Delena will buy a bit of time. A bubble comes in onto Vinny. That's a key cooldown on 100 Thieves gone, but Na'Vi look to make the push forward through that chicane, and Fate now comes in with the jaws of that land shark, but can he find a pick? No, he does not. Speech bubbles come in as Fate will all but just use it as a reposition mechanic.
Terror with the iframes of the Stellar Shift avoids the Jeff ultimate, and we've actually got to see as well the swap come through for Star-Lord now so that you're closer to that Galactic Legend. Millennia's going to have to, in accordance, hold the Soul Resurgence to wait for that to play into the retake, as it is going to still be 100 Thieves. One fight left before they get to head into a second defense. We can start to see the portal animation coming on through from the silhouette of TTK. Jerky looking for the dance of the butterflies to land onto these players if they funnel on through though.
This is for the map, this is for the win for 100 Thieves if they want to stay alive in this series. The portal, a bit desperate, but a necessary one indeed, as Terra takes to the skies but was not able to find one. A great sleep coming in, but now 100 Thieves, can you complete the heist? Can you rob Na'Vi of a map win here as they look to try to find a way back in, but Delena does get picked out early as the invisible boundary has to buy things a bit of time as Jerky jumps on in. The dance is lethal as two strategists of 100 Thieves crumble before 100 Thieves' eyes as Jerky has been this star player here on Na'Vi as everyone on 100 Thieves have to run and scram for the hills.
the patience of Jerky to wait for the strategist ultimates to be done to come through with the Dance of the Butterflies and land the damage onto the back line when 100 Thieves, their entire attention is forced to be on the objective, trying to prevent Na'Vi from walking it into first, and it gives them this opportunity, the second chance at life as we head into second. They're already all into the space that the 100 Thieves want to be able to control too. They've got the high ground, they've pushed this defense fully back, which means that that cut is moving closer and closer to a final fight, and they're just going to keep pushing the defense back even further. Psionic Seduction delays any fight forming, and 100 Thieves are about to go into a final fight territory with only Freedom charging Cosmic Gun Amplifier.
Both Captain Americas popping their voice lines at seemingly the same time. Delena tries to keep 100 Thieves beefy enough to survive what could be a onslaught of ultimates coming from Na'Vi, but they don't have anything available. So any key duelist ultimates available is the perfect time to shine, and that's going to be Terra's moment. When does he pull the trigger? When does he go for it? He goes for it now. Level 1 Crook, it's a race against time. Can Level 1 Crook get the invisible boundary in the nick of time? It doesn't seem likely, as Terra is just disrupting all of Na'Vi, and it looks like Na'Vi were quick to react, and they're going right into that little cave.
They've built the invisible boundary. They haven't fully disengaged either. They're going to be able to rotate, wrap around to the high ground, drop onto the objective, and have the slow. We go to a minute remaining. If the fight goes long enough, Jerky's going to be able to come through with the Dance of the Butterflies, as well as a free Galactic Legend. TTK falls, Millennia falls. The rotation from Na'Vi has been absolutely brutal.
No.
100 Thieves had no way of being able to stop them. The It's Jeff is going to be able to put the pressure onto the backline, hiding away, but the line of sight break means that Harvey breaks away from the E and can still come on through with the save for the team. Invisible boundary needs to be built up, and it needs to come through now.
Invisible boundary does come in, but is it enough? The point comes closer, closer, and closer to the finish line, but all but 66 centimeters separates the two from a map win for Na'Vi or a map win for 100 Thieves, as this overtime meter might inevitably come in, but no, it's not even needed. That candle is not even lit as Na'Vi take over TTK's playground, and 100 Thieves fall to Na'Vi 2-0.
Jerky being the absolute standout there on the Psylocke. What a performance put on. And I mean, I'm sure we're definitely going to be starting to see a couple of those bans come through. Not potentially just onto the duelist herself, but onto the things that strengthen it, right? We got to see things like the save onto the Emma, which comes in absolutely clutch because Jerky gets the projection team up. He gets a Lunar as well for the ban drop, so he gets the Idol Aura Flake to be able to do whatever he wants, wherever he wants. He doesn't need LOS from his strategist, and he makes away with, not the overall amount of highest damage done, but look at the damage done to final hits picked up. That's a very precise Psylocke who's going in and getting out, and in the meantime, getting exactly what the team wants.
Yeah, Jerky was the man that was lethal for 100 Thieves, but you also gotta give props to Na'Vi's draft. We gotta look back a little bit. That save onto Emma Frost, you mentioned it, has allowed Na'Vi to create so many opportunities to either make space for themselves or forcing 100 Thieves away.
Yeah,
and just that dual wield of utility coming in has been the difference for Na'Vi.